Cash Cobain, the hottest producer out of New York for years now,
and this beat from Cash, not from YouTube,
has also been establishing his own sound as an artist in the last 2 years, even getting Drake to rap like him.
I knew your nigga was about fuck on the court, he had some fun, girl, I'm the king of my city, you know what?
Right now, he and his sound has been blowing up more than ever with his song
Fisherrr.
going completely global after the Ice Spice remix. But what makes Cash Cobain's sound so special? Why does it work so well? And what can we learn from it? Well, let's first talk about Cash Cobain's sound called Sexy Drill.
Sexy drill is like sexy is sexy.
Skinny the pussy, that pussy was heavy. Nope, told her that shit kinda scary.
Hey yo, what the
Which he's been building and perfecting since 2021 alongside all these people, all helping him to push that sound, setting the foundation to make the genre as hot as it is right now. Melody wise, it consists of either a
typical sexy chord progression,
playing 4 chords with the first 2 having a nice common tone and the second 2 having a nice common tone as well, often played by classical 90s, 2000 E-piano, DX7 or Phantom sound, or a playful, catchy, funny sample, either being very popular songs from the 90s or 2000s.
Your nigga, cause he found you fresh, I can't stand that. I wanna fight your matter of fact, where your man at?
Or even pretty recent popular songs from the last few years.
Wanna get drunk and nasty, wanna get drunk and nasty, yeah. Wanna get drunk and nasty, put a bottle in your cup, get nasty.
Setting the tone for the song's lyrics and often even getting incorporated within it. As far as drums go, there's a mix of Jersey and drill drums, using the typical drill hi-hat pattern as the main element of bounce, often even taking out notes to make it even bouncier.
It still got that drill, like the hi-hat, but the 808 and the kicks will be a little different because like you gotta make it sexy.
And using a lot of stomps, triangles, and snaps to make the beat progress and build up even more bounce, barely using any claps or snares, which leads to a lot of pockets and empty spaces in the beat that are the key for why the genre is so bouncy, vibey, and danceable. As far as low-end goes, they're often using a smooth, sometimes punchy bass, or just a spins 808 playing the typical Jersey bounce, or some more trap-inspired pattern. When it comes to the kick, they clip the fuck out of that kick to make it hit as hard as possible and also create a certain sound. Which brings us to the first thing we can learn from Cash Cobain and his sound, which is not caring about any music rules or putting yourself in the box of the things you've learned or have been doing for years, even if it's subconsciously. From the kicks that are just completely clipping to just sampling anything and not worrying about any sample clearance.
Shout out to Gunna, I hope you don't sue me.
All the way to the very harsh, high frequency, heavy sounding vocals.
He made sure that you finished when he finished like that.
They only cared about what they felt like sounded good and worried about nothing else. Also not forcing anything, but just making the music they felt like sounded good to them without caring about anything or anyone else.
Shit just natural, bro. Like, I must say, all this shit is natural. Like, doing things how we like to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
which I feel like is a big reason why their sound is so big now. Which leads us to why this sound just works so well and was able to captivate so many people and blow up in a pretty short amount of time.
Your sound is fucking locked. You got it locked. We're dying for this shit.
Now, apart from mixing Jersey and drill, which are probably 2 of the most danceable genres of the new generation, and primarily making songs for the female audience,
we just made it sexy. Like we started rapping towards the woman,
leading to a much bigger fan base.
We just get more women than the average nigga, so.
The musical elements used in the genre are probably the biggest reason why the genre got so successful in such a short amount of time. First of all, we got an extremely simple bounce everybody can catch and vibe to. And second of all, we got the use of sounds that people are very familiar with, using classical sounds like E-pianos and pads that were used in many hits all the way from the 90s to the early 2000s. Or just sampling popular songs that people are familiar with, all leading to a sound that everybody is somehow familiar with, which unconsciously just leads to liking it more than something you're not familiar with, which makes the genre just so genius. Now that leads me to what we can learn production-wise from Cash Cobain and his sound.
How do you know when something's sexy?
You hear this shit right here? Like, if you can hear this, you can do like this. That's sexy, okay?
Which is again not blocking yourself into that box you may have unconsciously created about making music, and only really adding what the beat/bounce needs. So the next time you make a beat, play around with muting elements of the beat until you only have things playing that contribute to the vibe and bounce of the beat, and just delete everything else. Even if you then just have simple chords and a hi-hat playing, just like in Fisherrr. If we look at that beat, all we got is just very simple chords. Again, following the rules of
The typical sexy chord progression.
having two nice common tones between the first two and second two chords. Then a high string note playing a continuous note throughout the pattern, and just a hi-hat. And if you believe it or not, this exact thing without any switch up is playing until 1 minute and damn near 40 seconds. Until an 808 comes in with a quite simple but long pattern. A simple snap pattern to add some extra bounce and progression. And a typical sexy drill kick coming in at this one part right here. And that's the whole beat. Like, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whole elements. You just have to keep it simple. This shows it so well again. All the elements add some sort of bounce or some sort of progression, and you just don't need nothing else. It's only 3 sounds playing throughout most of the track. So the more familiar the sounds you use are for normal people, and the simpler the bounce, the more potential success will your beats/songs have. And what this shows so well is that you don't need any new weird crazy sounding stuff to make something new and interesting. You know, you just have to mix and match the right things together, and you can also create something new with old known elements. So all in all, what I feel like we can really learn from all this is that you should just make the music that feels good to you without riding every new wave, every new sound, and not forcing anything when it comes to your music. Just sticking to it, grinding it out, building and perfecting your style until it's your time to shine. And don't use any hella weird sounds or just add way too much to your beats.
Like, if you got something you want to do, don't ever stop doing it. Like, continue to do it. Do it. Don't care about what nobody said. Don't even let nobody interfere with it. Just keep on working. Even if it's not how you want it to be, you gotta keep going. And keep going. My mom always tell me, it's like, you could be your own best friend or your own worst enemy, bro. It really start with you. Don't wait on nobody else. Don't depend on nobody. That shit, you gotta just keep going, thug it out. That's what I did, bro. I thugged it out.
Thank y'all for watching, especially if y'all made it this far. This video was a lot of work again with doing all the research, watching all the interviews, finding footage, learning the genre, all that. So, you know what to do. Leave a comment as well letting me know what producer I should make a video about next. Also, check out my Patreon for weekly cool stuff like presets, exclusive videos, FLPs, samples, and a bunch of free stuff to download as well. All in the first link in the description. And with all that being said, have an amazing rest of your day. Hopefully you could pick up some useful things from this video. And I'm out.